Hey guys, Robert Super Saiyan here, back again doing another Battle Deck episode. This time we're doing the Three Musketeers. So, what I've been doing with this deck is mainly I run down the P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. being one of the most common card to see with the Three Musketeers so far, after the patch. And you run it down to get to about the center mark of the map. And then at that point you should be able to drop your Three Musketeers. Now, obviously a good counter to this is Fireball. If you're lucky, it doesn't take out your Three Musketeers entirely, it leaves them with a little bit of health, but that is the one downfall. But if they don't have it, generally you're going to do quite well, and even if they do, you'll figure it out real quick, and then you'll start to learn to split push, meaning you'll send a P.E.K.K.A. down one and send the Three Musketeers on the other potentially. That way they have to choose and pick which one they're going to address, that kind of thing. There are ways around counters, it's just you'll have to figure it out soon, like immediately after you drop your Three Musketeers, you'll figure it out if he has a Fireball or not, or soon within the first couple, like, I don't know, 30 seconds of the match, he'll probably have a Fireball at some point that he'll use. But anyways, let's go ahead and show you a couple matches here. You can see here, I am doing a lot of 3 crowning. I do lose, don't get me wrong, this is an effective deck. It's not flawless, I mean, it has its vulnerabilities, like I said, and it's not nowhere near unbeatable, but it's definitely fun. And seeing that the Three Musketeers can be used in a competitive manner now, not competitive, but in a higher trophy manner, 2,600 to 2,700 trophies so far. I'm sitting at, I think, like 2,700 trophies. But let's go ahead and go into this replay here. So we're going to go ahead and show this one. Alright, so, like I said, Fireball is a big counter. I'm trying to think other ones. An Infernal Tower can be a pretty big nuisance for me too, because it takes out my P.E.K.K.A. quite easily. You can see here he's dropping everything though. He's dropping the Dark Prince, an Ice Wizard, and some Spirit Goblins. But I'm going to go ahead and just drop my minion horde here. Do some damage hopefully to this Dark Prince. He's going to do a pretty nice amount of damage, but my tower should be able to take out the Ice Wizard here fairly quickly here. One more shot. There it is. Alright, so he did like half the health. That was pretty nasty push, but I'm ready to counterattack here. So let's go ahead and drop the P.E.K.K.A. It looks like we're going to be doing here in a second. Bam! So there we go. Now we're going to wait up for our Three Musketeers. We're going to follow up with the P.E.K.K.A. with the Three Musketeers and hopefully be able to enrage them. Looks like this might be a little difficult one, but if we can stagger correctly, we should be able to manage. Yeah, it looks like we are going to be able to do it. Because the P.E.K.K.A. is going to take all the damage while the Three Musketeers takes out all the troops. If I staggered it incorrectly and put the Three Musketeers on top of the P.E.K.K.A., the Dragon would have taken out a lot of that. Taking out a lot of the health of the Three Musketeers. So here's their Rage Spell. The Rage Spell is phenomenally effective on the P.E.K.K.A. and, most importantly, the Three Musketeers. So there we go, doing tons of damage. It's ridiculous. So he got half the health of my tower, but when I pushed, I got his tower and half the health on his crown tower. So I would say that's a good push. So he does have the Golem. The Golem I'm not too worried about. I do have the Minion Horde. If need be, I do have the ability to drop my P.E.K.K.A. and then follow up with Three Musketeers if need be. This was a good drop on his Dragon, actually, though. So he did take out a lot of my Minion Horde there. So now I'm going to drop the P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. is going to go ahead and handle it from this point forward. Do some heavy hits here. I'm definitely going to have to drop something here because the tower is going to get taken out if I don't address the issue here. So now we're checking out his Ice Wizard. His Dragon's already down. We're going to throw down the Three Musketeers again. There's no need why. We're going to go ahead and split push though because the P.E.K.K.A. is going to go down that side. We're just going to enrage right here and just take out his tower if possible. Yeah, looks like he tried to pull aggro, but they just did not survive fast enough. So there we go. Second tower is down. Looking good. P.E.K.K.A.'s looking pretty formidable still. The Hog Rider is definitely going to try to reach my tower, but placing that Musketeer just in time to kind of take him out before he got to his destination. So there you go. There's the brute force power of the deck. Does it always translate this way? No. There are times where like they have even stronger of a push than I do, or they just have a lot of counter cards to me. Freeze is a nasty one for me too. Because Freeze will allow him to just take out my Three Musketeers or my P.E.K.K.A. even, if he has the proper cards to deal with it. Alright, let's show another one here. So you can see I did have a couple defeats here, like so defeat there, I had a couple victories, defeat. I mean, there's a couple of them like where it's the draw as well. So like it's not like undefeated. The deck is really fun. It's really effective, but it's not perfect. I generally win more than I lose. You can see here, like I have a few defeats still in there, but you can see I have majority of them are victories. I think let's go ahead and look at the defeats real quick. So this one he had the Infernal Tower. I told you that's one of the counters. Defensive buildings could be a nasty one too. If he has a lot of that, that can deviate a lot of the tension from my P.E.K.K.A. and also my 3 Musketeers having to deal with the defenses. That can be pretty nasty. So then there's that one. Another defeat was this guy had a similar build, but he just played better. He had a P.E.K.K.A. He had a 3 Musketeers. He just had maybe the better cards. I don't know. I think he just played better. But it was definitely a close game. You can see it was 0-1. We didn't like go like 0-3. Then there's a victory, a couple draws here and there. This one right here. So this is a freeze I was talking about. Freezes are kind of nasty on me. This one is... I don't know why I lost this one. We'll have to look at that one. And this one, a similar deck. He doesn't have the 3 Musketeers. He just probably played a little bit better. I mean, a lot of times it may not even be the deck. You know, sometimes it might be just the fact that I just didn't have a good game. But let's go on to show the next match of where it does have its power. So we showed the 3 crown. Here's a 2-1. Let's go and watch that one real quick. We don't want to just show like landslides here. We want to show it to where it's a little bit more difficult. We'll show a loss as well, to where I can kind of demonstrate how the deck can fall apart, for sure. I'll probably do the Infernal Tower one. That's the most important one for me. Alright, so we're starting with the P.E.K.K.A. I don't know. After experimenting with this deck for a while, sometimes waiting out your enemy's plays first is more important. A lot of times, laying out the P.E.K.K.A. can bite you in the butt. Because if they had a Prince, you can just literally just send the Prince out to the left-hand side every time I drop a P.E.K.K.A. And if I don't have the proper cards, I can't counterattack it, and he does a ton of damage. So it is a risk. So in general, I would highly suggest letting your enemy start first. If he doesn't, then you got to do something at some point. But I definitely say that it's one of those that you really want to weigh out your options. Do you want to take the risk, or do you want to see if you can counterattack yourself first? So here we go. We got the Dark Prince. Didn't do too much damage, but the Princess is going to take them all out. We're going to go ahead and error her because we don't want to deal with her. So there we go. So we're just waiting up an elixir right now. He's pretty low himself. He has an elixir collector, so his economy is going to be a little bit better here in the end. But I placed one myself, so it looks like we're going to even out for the most part. He does have an elixir advantage right now, as far as having more elixir for an attack, but his troops take a while to get there, so therefore I can counterattack just fine. He's waiting on that full. Okay, I was going to say, he better cast something. So he has the P.E.K.K.A. I'm probably going to lay out my own P.E.K.K.A. So there we go. So that way the damage doesn't translate to my tower, it translates to the P.E.K.K.A. He does poison me, which was a good choice because it's going to take out the elixir collector, or at least do a lot of damage to it. Do some damage to my tower, and also slow down my P.E.K.K.A. But I'm going to go ahead and split push here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can go ahead and do some damage on his left tower, while the P.E.K.K.A. is dealing with what's going on the right side. So we took out his tower. He does do some damage on the right side. I do try to pick up what I can here. But he laid another P.E.K.K.A. too, so this is going to be a little bit scary because I don't know if I can deal with that. I do have the Minion Horde. Finally, the Minion Horde did come up, so I did manage to get that, so that was really good for us. So that was actually a really good counter push. That was a little bit risky because I didn't know if my Minion Horde was going to be up, but fortunately it did come up, so that was good. Oh, connection lost. Okay. Please try logging in again. Thank you. I'm in the middle of a video. Okay, let's see. So, where was it? It was a 2-1, right? We'll just speed through it real quick. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go and speed through this real quick. So, boom. It was right after that push, so... There we go. Here's the first push that I did. Then he's going to counter with that. He's going to throw out a P.E.K.K.A. here in a second. There we go. Okay, so this is where we kind of almost left off here. He poisons. Okay, we're gonna go speed through there a little bit more. Okay, so here's where like the counter push starts. Right here. Okay, so he has a P.E.K.K.A. We do get the minion horde, like I said, so that was good. We're gonna take him out real quick. There it goes, and he's gonna take it out with the arrows. Alright, so this is where we left off. We're probably gonna go ahead and go for the push ourselves now. We have the elixir. We're gonna drop the elixir collector actually. We're gonna be a little bit more efficient here. So now, it looks like we're gonna be laying on the onslaught here. Laying down the P.E.K.K.A. He does drop the Dark Prince and a Princess along with the Witch. It's not looking too good actually. He might actually pick it up, and it looks like he does. So it definitely did hurt, but I'm gonna be able to counter push here pretty effectively, I feel, because we're gonna go ahead and take out these guys with the wizard. We're gonna have the 3 Musketeers take out his P.E.K.K.A. like nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and enrage as well, or rage. I keep saying enrage. So there we go. We're gonna go ahead and rage ourselves, get to the elixir collector, and then just tear down this freaking tower. The rage spell on the 3 Musketeers is nasty. 3 Musketeers alone, if left alone, can take out a tower quite quickly, and with the rage spell, it just goes crazy. So there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and show another victory, and then we'll go into a loss here. Because I still want to like show the power of it. So let's go ahead and show. We'll show the 3-1. We want, like I said, I don't like showing landslides because it's cool and all, but I don't like to just show simply landslides. So here we go. So we didn't start off with the P.E.K.K.A. We're gonna probably lay down the elixir collector just because there's nothing else for us to do. But then we're gonna grab the P.E.K.K.A. and put it into our hand here. So that's pretty good. This was a little bit risky right here because I did lay down Elixir Collector as he was coming in with troops. So he did do quite a bit of damage because of that. I don't know if that was the best choice, but then again, I'm not the best player in the world, so we'll have to see what happens, what it translates here. So we did check out the tower just barely. He has some Spirit Goblins coming. I'm going to go ahead and probably drop the P.E.K.K.A. here. I'm not worried about the Spirit Goblins. I'm going to go ahead and try to focus on a push here, but the Wizard actually does in fact take it out. Yeah, so I did take a risk. I took a risk and let him have a tower. I don't know why I did that, but he got it. But here's where my push starts to shine. So we're going to go in with a P.E.K.K.A. with a Wizard. He's going to Fireball, and I'm just like, oh man. 3 Musketeers. Bam! You drop the Fireball, you are screwed, sir. He's like, arrows. Nope, sorry, bro. You are dead, sir. And then there it goes. It's just shredding his crown tower, and down it goes. So I took a risk. He fireballed my Wizard, and I'm just like, alright, let's do this. So there we go. That was the power of this deck. You ignore, if you use your cards wrong and not really wait people out. So for instance, if I was him and did what he did, like I normally do, right? I just lay out cards. I don't wait for him to attack, or for my enemy to attack. And this is what can happen, is that they go for counter push when you go and attack, and that sucks, because then now you're at a disadvantage. Luckily, it was in my favor because I was on the opposite end. I was the one counter attacking, so that was pretty good. But yeah, so there we go. That is the power of the deck at its maximum potential. But let's go ahead and show you a loss where it really starts to hurt. You can see here, I had a few bad games here too. I had 3 in a row. I was actually getting like really mad too. I was like, oh my god. Like, it was late at night. I believe 12 hours and 52 minutes ago. What time was that? Yeah, so that was like 3 a.m. Oh no, it was like 2 a.m. because it's like almost 13 hours ago. So 2 a.m. I was playing, and I was pretty mad. I was like, man, I'm tired. I gotta quit. So I turned it off, and I came back in the morning. No, actually, I kept going. Looks like I kept going, and then I came back in the morning, and I got defeated again. But then I got it back. Okay, that's what happened. But anyways. So let's go ahead and go into that loss. So where's the Infernal Tower? It's not here. It must be down here. It must be this one right here. Alright, watch. So I didn't get any towers in this one either. Like, I could not push for whatever reason. We do start off with the P.E.K.K.A. We have an Elixir Collector. The Hog Rider's going in. I'm really not liking Hog Riders for this deck because it's hard to stop. I don't have defensive buildings, so Hog Riders are really hard for me to stop. That's another one I guess you can kind of put on your little notepad saying Hog Riders are a counter to this deck potentially. So there's Infernal Tower. So I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm like, alright, so a Hog Rider, which I can't stop unless I just kill before he gets there. And he has an Inferno Tower for my P.E.K.K.A. Crap. So, we gotta figure this out. So he's just fireballing. He's trying to get down my Elixir Collector and also do damage to my tower, which is, it's fairly smart. Because without that, I can't really push to my maximum potential. Wizard's gonna go alone. I might just drop a Musketeer to kind of help. So there we go. And the Wizard's going to go ahead and do some damage, but just not enough, and both of them survive. But the Inferno Tower is going to go down here in a second. There we go. And the Bomb Tower will be down before I even get there, so it was okay. It was an okay trade. It wasn't too bad. So now we don't have a P.E.K.K.A. still, so like at this point I had to lay something, but luckily I can lay the, I don't know why I did that. I think that was a big mistake. That was like the biggest mistake ever. I don't know why the hell I used arrows. So that may have been a factor into my loss there too. I don't know why I used arrows there, guys. I don't know. I think I was trying to use the minion horde and I just misclicked or something. That could have been the only reason, because I don't know why I would normally never use arrows on a Hog Rider. But yeah, so there we go. That definitely hurt quite a bit. So now we're gonna go ahead and try to do our push here. But the freaking the Inferno Tower. So now I try to lay the Musketeers to take the damage for me, but the freaking fireball, man. So we're hurting. We cannot push. We cannot do anything here. The defenses are pulling away from my push, and also just laying down waste on my P.E.K.K.A. and my Musketeers get hit by a fireball and get destroyed almost entirely. So again, like I said, I'm really struggling here. He's just D'ing up. Like at this point, like he just D's up until he can take out that tower and he's good to go. So there we go. A Bomb Tower, an Inferno Tower. This is all he does. He just D's up. He just clears out my troops, D's up, throws out a Hog Rider if he needs to, and you know, just does that. So you can see here he's trying just to kind of whittle it away, but I'm just trying to fight for my life, and he fireballs again, and this is pretty much game, because by the time he comes up, well, he has arrows, so he can just arrow it right now, but he's just gonna wait out the clock, just in case he does lose, just in case like it's like really close and he can like win it really quickly, instead of going into like an overtime. So there we go. He knows it's over. I know it's over, so I'm not even playing in cards. It's like it's done. I didn't even touch his tires except that one time. So there we go. So the moral of the story is don't use arrows on Hog Riders. That was really bad. I'm pretty sure, since I had the minion horde highlighted, I must have, like, my fat finger must have just dragged the arrows instead of the minion horde by accident. That's the only explanation. Other than that, maybe I had a stroke and didn't realize. I don't know. But yeah, so there we go. That is the deck. Let me go ahead and show you the cards real quick, in case you guys are interested. Oh, let me open the chest real quick. Can't ignore that. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this unlocked right now. Okay, so there we go. So we have, again, the 3 Musketeers, the Musketeer, the Rage Spell, the Elixir Collector, that's Rage, right? Yeah, Rage Spell, and then the Wizard, the P.E.K.K.A., and some arrows, and then the Minion Horde. I don't know if I said the Minion Horde or not, but you know, the one I didn't use. The one I used arrows instead for. But yeah, so that's the deck. So the biggest thing, like I said, I would say the biggest problem is probably Hog Rider, Freeze, Inferno Tower. Anything else, I think I can deal with. And if they have a Prince, you definitely have to make sure that you don't get split pushed, you don't get countered when you drop a P.E.K.K.A., because a lot of times you drop 7 Elixir on a P.E.K.K.A., leaving you 3 Elixir to react, maybe 4 or 5 by the time the Prince gets there. That's only 1 card, so I don't really have any defenses, so I can't stop a charge. And I have to drop something to take the hit. It's either a Musketeer or the 3 Musketeers, which I can't cast. So the Musketeer is the only option, unless the Wizard, but then the Wizard is going to die instantaneously as well. So at that point, really the only option I have is to drop a Minion Horde to stop a Prince after the charge. So that's why the counterattacks really hurt. I might switch up a few things later on, like maybe switch out the Musketeer for a defensive building, because the Musketeer is nice, but I think a defensive building might be really strong for this deck, just because it'll stop the pushes from like counterattacks, or just be able to allow me to be a little bit more tanky in terms of my defenses, since I have absolutely none besides troops themselves being my defensive line. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Try it out. Let me know what you think about it, what variations of this deck that you're using. maybe something I can do to improve my deck, to make it a little bit better. Some of you guys are higher trophies than me, so I'm fully open to constructive criticism. Let me know, because I want to raise my trophies as well. So, but for those of you guys who are like around the, I would say 20. Well, when can you get the 3 Musketeers? Let's see. 3 Musketeers is at Arena 7, so at 2,000 trophies to about 2,700 trophies. I would say this deck is really, really strong. And then when you get to about 27 to 3,000. 2,700 to 3,000, it gets a little bit more difficult. You will win most of them, but it gets difficult, and the grind is slow. So I definitely would say it's definitely a higher trophy deck, but I wouldn't recommend this specific deck if you're going to go into like the top players. I would say that you need some kind of adaptation to the deck, like I said, throwing in a defensive building potentially, something like that. But yeah. Or maybe even using like a freeze spell instead of a rage spell, kind of pulling away from your offense and then putting a little bit more in your ability to react to their offense through a freeze spell, aka I guess essentially it's kind of like defense. But yeah, so there's that too. Plus, freeze spell you can use like universally, offensively and defensively too. So if you don't need to D-up, you can just freeze and just destroy things that way too. So I might try that too. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Later.